Good evening, one and all. 2-5 is here. Sports Reports is ordered. Been a long time. I'm back. Let's do this. So on Thursday night, we got a big one. You know, we haven't had many Thursday night games to write home about. We had the opening night, Detroit at Kansas City, pretty good game, defensive battle and all that kind of stuff. Defending Super Bowl champions. And ever since then, the NFL really been questioning our loyalty. They've been putting these games on, calling them games when they're nothing entertaining at all. But tomorrow night, my hometown, Be More Stand Up. The Cincinnati Bengals are coming in. The AFC North is up for grabs. So right now, we got the Ravens at 7-3. We got the Steelers and the Browns, who play this weekend, at 6-3. Bringing up the rear, so to speak, the Cincinnati Bengals at 5-4. Now, the Bengals started off the season wild. Remember, they lost, opening week. Then they lost to Baltimore in week 2, 27-24. In that game, the Ravens outgained Cincinnati 415 to 282. So then Cincinnati got on fire after that, culminating with a win over San Francisco that sent San Francisco into their bye week on a 3-game losing streak. And then it happened. C.J. Stroud, the rookie, came into Joe Burrow's house and outplayed him to the tune of a 30-27 win with a last-second field goal. Baltimore, as well, lost this weekend on a last-second field goal against the Cleveland Browns. So both of these teams are coming into this game with disappointing losses. Both of these teams are coming into the game with Super Bowl aspirations. Now, you look at the rest of the division. You got Deshaun Watson, who is now opted to have season-ending shoulder surgery. Pittsburgh still can't score. And you would never know it, but Pittsburgh's near the bottom of the league in defense, but every time I turn on the Steelers, they're forcing a turnover. So it's like feast or famine. They're either going to give up a bunch of yards and some points, or they're going to get a turnover. But coming into this game on Thursday night, Cincinnati absolutely needs this game. They cannot fall to 0-2 against Baltimore. They cannot fall 2 games behind Baltimore while being 0-2 against Baltimore. The winner of Cleveland and Pittsburgh is going to have an even bigger lead on them, a 2-game lead as well in the loss column. So this is all here and now for the Bengals. Now, Baltimore at home. We talked about them last week on Sports Reports is Ordered. Going into the game against Cleveland last week, Baltimore had been dominant at home. They shellacked the Lions. They beat the Seahawks, held them to 3 points. So from that standpoint, Baltimore came into the game against Cleveland, had a double-digit lead, had a 98% chance of winning that game at one point. But the Browns pulled it out late. So tomorrow night, no T. Higgins. Sam Hubbard is questionable. Akeem Gaithers is questionable. On the Ravens side, OBJ is questionable. Marlon Humphrey and Daryl Worley are questionable. So I want to focus on Marlon Humphrey. If he doesn't play, then, Jamar Chase should have room to roam free. Because you would think that without T. Higgins, the defense would be able to focus on Jamar Chase. But if there's no Marlon Humphrey, I don't know how you do that, right? So Cincinnati, they have to beware. They have to find Keaton Mitchell, the rookie out of ECU. I know it's only been 2 games, and I know it's a small sample size, but just for the record, since I like to tell you about the stats, he's averaging 14.3 yards per carry. Obviously, that's not going to maintain, but I just had to throw that out there. But the real question is, can Cincinnati establish the run? They're last in the league. Yes, worst in Tampa Bay, 74.8 yards per game. They're 30th in the league, 3.6 yards per carry. So they can't be one-dimensional against this Ravens defense, second in the NFL in total defense, by the way. Roquan Smith in the game, putting it together. You know, Baltimore has scored 30 points, or at least 30 points in 4 straight games. So can Cincinnati play keep up? You know, the thing that helps Cincinnati out is that they're tied for the lead in the NFL in turnover margin. You know, the Ravens, they average about 27 points a game, and they score when the run game is working. But when the run game is not working, the passing game still looks a little too pedestrian for my liking. Lamar Jackson is only averaging 217.7 passing yards per game. So something's got to give. Either Cincinnati's going to have to find a way to run, or Baltimore is going to have to get effective through the air. So what do I think is going to happen? I think this is going to be, as they say, a slobber knocker. I think this is going to come down to the wire. But as I said in the opening, Cincinnati cannot, I repeat, cannot lose this game. So I'm going to take Cincinnati in desperation mode. Baltimore's favored by 3.5. I'm going to take Cincinnati outright along the tunes of 24-21 Bengals.